Okay, good morning, everybody. On this wonderful, wonderful day in the month of Adar, we're continuing over here with the Mishkan, and we are right here talking about the Pareches. Let's get started on verse 31. Vasisa Pareches tcheles va'argamon v'selas shni v'sheish mashzar ma'aseh choshev ya'aseh osei kruvim. She'll make a dividing curtain, that's the Pareches, of blue, purple, and crimson wool, and twisted fine linen, the work of a master weaver. He shall make it in a woven kruvim design. So I got this book. I need to take off let me take off my blur. I can figure out how to do that actually. Video. Oh, there we go. Okay, so over here they have a good picture of the kruvim. It's a representation with images of the pareches, the two sides of the pareches. Let's go into the Rashi. A dividing curtain, pareches. Pareches, this is a word denoting a dividing curtain. In the language of the sages is called pargoid, something that separates between the king and the people. Blue and purple, each type was doubled in each thread with 6 strands. They had 6 strands, and it was a blue and purple together type color, as this picture shows, that type of purple. Okay. All right, let's go to Lamed. And kruvim. The kruvim are designs of creatures, like we could see in this picture. Maybe I'm going to put this a little bit lower so I don't have to pick up. Okay. And you should place it onto 4 pillars of acacia wood, mitzufim zav, overlaid with gold, vaveyem zav. Their hooks were also gold, al arba adnei kasef, on 4 silver sockets. Here we go. Next picture. You can see the 4 pillars. I love this book. You can see 4 pillars of gold going into 4 silver sockets, and the pareches supported by it. Let's go to the next one. You shall place a dividing curtain beneath the clasps. And you should bring there on the inner side of the dividing curtain of the Arona Ha'edis. And that's the dividing. Pareches divides between the Kodesh and the Kodesh HaKadosh. Remember, nobody would go into the Kodesh HaKadosh. However, the Kodesh was a place that the Kohanim would go into. So let's look what those hooks look like. You can see, I don't know if the pictures are clear enough, or I need to get closer, but I can see them very clearly. There are these hooks that go on to the beams, gold hooks on gold beams. They're called the vaveyim.
You have to lift up the page and put it next to the
camera,
wherever the camera is.
Oh,
right.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a better idea. I'm going to put the camera in a better location. Instead of lifting up the book, let's see if we can get this to stand on something. A second, everybody. Okie dokie. Now we're talking. Okay. Yeah. So now you can see the hooks onto the beams, and you can see how and now you can see how at the bottom picture how the pareches, the curtain, goes onto those hooks, and that's those beams we're holding it up. Okay. you shall place the ark cover over the ark on the testimony in the Holy of Holies. So, yeah, this picture is a good one. So this picture right over here, you can see from this drawing, I'm not sure if it catches up in the camera, but it shows this is 28 amos long by 40 amos, width by 40 amos long, and you can see over here is the partition in the middle, and you can see the 4 beams. It's very light in the picture, so I don't know if it's going to come through, but it has 4 beams, and that's holding up this partition, separating between the Kodesh and the Kodesh HaKadoshim. And you should place the shulchan. Let's see if it has a picture of the shulchan. Or right here, you can see. So you should put the shulchan michutz lapareches on the outside of the dividing curtain. That's hamenorah neichach hashulchan, and the menorah opposite the shulchan. So you have the shulchan and you have the menorah opposite it. Altzela hamishkan on the southern side of the teimana, on the southern side of the mishkan. V'hashulchan titin altzela tzafain, and you shall place the table on the north side. So they're opposite each other, the shulchan and the menorah. One is on the north side and one is on the south side. Okay. Let's read this Rashi. Why it was the one on the north, one on the let's talk about that. So the table was on the north, drawn away from the northern wall of the Mishkan by 2.5 cubits, 2.5 amas. Right? An amma is about 1.5 feet, just for your calculations. The menorah was placed on the south side, drawn away from the southern wall, also by 2.5 amas. The golden altar was placed opposite the space between the table and the menorah, like a triangle, as you see in the picture. The golden altar was placed opposite the space between, drawn a short distance towards the east. The table, menorah, and golden altar were all situated in the inner half of the Mishkan. How was this? The length of the Mishkan from the entrance to the dividing curtain was 20 amas. The altar and the table and the menorah were drawn away from the entrance toward the western side, 10 amas. So they were smack in the middle of the room. The whole room was 20 amas, and they were about 10 amas in. Okay, we're on Pasuk 35. Let us go. Okay. Let's go. Where are we? Pasuk 36, sorry. Vasisa masach lefesach ha'oil, and you shall make a screen for the entrance of the tent. Tcheles va'argamon v'sayla shni v'sheish masar maser hakeach. Of blue and purple, crimson wool, and twisted fine linen, the work of an embroiderer. Let's look. You should make a screen. Rashi says a curtain that is a protector opposite the entrance, like you made a hedge around him. Like it says in the verse, you made a hedge around him, an expression of protection. The work of an embroiderer, the figures, the pictures on the screen are produced on it with needlework, just as the face was on one side, so was the face on the other side. This is very intricate drawings. Okay, Vasisa la masach chamisha amudei shitim v'tzipasam oisam zahav. You shall make for the screen 5 pillars. So unlike the other side, which had 4 pillars, this side had 5 pillars. I see somebody wrote a comment. Oh, it's clear. Good. So 5 pillars of acacia wood overlaid with gold, vivaveim zahav, and their hooks were gold. And you shall cast for them 5 copper sockets. So this time they were copper, as you can see over here in this picture. That let me raise a little bit. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That it had 5, unlike the other one, which just had 4 2 on this walls and 2 in the middle. Over here, it had 5 with copper at the bottom as opposed to silver at the bottom. That completes today's Chumash. Let's put this back up. Ezrat Hashem, God willing, we should have the Beis HaMikdash. Remember, these instructions were also used, although it's the Mishkan, it's also the Beis HaMikdash. So, God willing, we should have that speedily in our days.
Baruch Hashem.
Rebuilt. Okay, we're in the middle of chapter 29 in Likutei Amarim. And let's continue with the Tanya. Vatam, and the reason that humbling the spirit of the Sitra Achra is effective in crushing it. Lefi shebe'emes ein shum mamashos klal b'Sitra Achra. This is a key thing. There is no substance whatsoever in the Sitra Achra. Shalachein Nimshla l'choshech she'ein bo shum mamashos klal u'memela nidchem mipnei ha'ar. That is why it is compared to darkness, which has no substance at all, and is automatically banished by light. All you got to do in a dark room is bring some light, and darkness is gone, because good darkness itself has nothing. The kach hasitra achra. So too is the sitra achra. Av sheyesh ba chayes harba, lahachi is kol bali chayim atmeim v'napshes umas ha'olam. Although it has a lot of vitality, has a lot of chayas to give to the animal soul, right? Because it gives the chayas to the animal soul and also to all the nations of the world. V'gam nefesh habahamis should be Yisrael kiniskalo mikol mokem harei kol chayusay einem mitzad atzma chas v'shalom. It doesn't have its own chayas. Ella mitzad hakdusha kiniskalo el. It only gets its chayas from kedusha. And therefore, it becomes completely nullified as soon as it's in the presence of kedusha. Just like darkness disappears from light in physical light. Rak. However, legabe, in comparison to kedushas nefesh halikisra ba'adam, nasan lakadosh baruch hu reshus v'yecheles la'agbia atzma kenegda. Hashem God gave the Sitra Achra permission and the ability to raise itself against the nefesh halikis. Why? Kedesha Adam Yis'ayr Liskaber Alaya, so that people will be able to overcome it. God gave it the strength to stand up to the Nefesh Halikis, so that there'll be a struggle. So that there'll be a struggle between the Nefesh Halikis and the Nefesh Habahamis. Kedesha Adam Yis'ayr Liskaber, so that a person will be able to overcome it. Lashpila, Al Yedei Shvilus. In order that he will be aroused to overpower it and to humble it by means of the humility and submission of his spirit, and by being abhorrent and despised in his eyes. For through this he humbles the Sitra Achra and abhors it. So we have to completely nullify it. This arusa de la sata, this arousal from below, is arusa de la ela. The arousal of man below to crush the Sitra Achra causes an Isrusa de La'ela, an arousal from above. Lekayim Mashanemar Mishom Oyridcha Ne'um Hashem. From there will I bring you down. So when we put in effort and we have an Isrusa de Lasata, we have a inspiration, an arousal, this awakens the arousal from above. Dahainu. This means shemesira mimshalta v'yocholta, that he deprives it of its dominion and power. And he takes away the strength and authority that he gave it. That the authority and power to go up against Kedusha. Hashem, if we are misayrer, Hashem takes it away. And then it completely becomes automatically nullified and banished. Just like darkness gets dispersed by light. Like we find this stated in connection with the story of the Meraglim. Why? In the beginning, they said, the Meraglim first said, the enemy, the people that they saw in Eretz Yisrael, they're much stronger than we are. Al tikre mimenu, don't read it mimenu. Shaloi ha'eminu b'yechelas Hashem. Not, you shouldn't read it as they're stronger than we. They meant it as they're stronger than he. They thought that the Meraglim made the mistake to think that the people in Eretz Yisrael are stronger than he, stronger than HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shaloi ha'eminu b'yechelas Hashem. They did not have faith in God's ability to overcome the people, the inhabitants of the land of Eretz Yisrael. This, after seeing everything that they saw in the desert, this is mind-boggling to me. But afterwards, they reversed themselves and said, "Hinenu va'alinu, will readily go up to conquer the land." So ume'ayin chazra uva lahem ha'emuna b'yechelas Hashem. Where did they come? From where did their faith in the ability of Hashem come back, return? It's not like Moshe did any moifsim, any miracles between the times of these two things, where the Meraglim at first did not have faith in Hashem, and then afterwards they do. Rak she'amar lahem eich shekotzaf Hashem aleim. Moshe just told them that God was angry with them. He had sworn not to allow them to enter the land What value did this divine anger and oath have to them? So how did this help? That telling them that Hashem was angry with them. How's this going to help give them emunah, give them faith that Hashem is going to overcome the 31 kings that were currently at that time reigning over the land of Eretz Yisrael? And that was the reason why they didn't want to go in. So what exactly changed? What did Moshe say to them? He didn't show any miracles, we know that. But what did he say by saying that Hashem is angry with them and that they won't go in? Ella vadai. Surely the explanation is Yisrael atzmam heim ma'aminim b'nei ma'aminim. Because the Yidden themselves, regardless of what the Meraglim said, they are believers, the sons of believers. Raksha sitra achra hamlubeshas begufa. What was the problem? Is that the sitra achra, that is melubesh, that is clothed into the body, was able to overcome on the nefesh alikis, begasus ruach begavusa, with gasus ruach, arrogance and haughtiness, bechatzufa b'litam v'das, without sense or reason. Therefore, miyad shekotzav Hashem aleim, when Hashem got angry at them, v'hirim b'kol rash v'reges, and thunderly told them, Ad masay le'eda hara azais, how long will I bear this evil congregation? Bamidbar hazeh yipolu, bigreichem, and in in the midbar, you will die. Ani Hashem dibarti, I, God, have spoken. All the when the Eibusher said all these things, when their hearts heard these things and nichna benishbar libam bekirbam, their welcome, their hearts trembled and was broken within them. And the people mourned greatly. No, sorry. This automatically melted the Sitra Achra, toppled it from its dominion, from its haughtiness, and from its arrogance. Yisrael Atmam Hemaminim. But the Israelites themselves, the Yidden themselves, they were believers. They were believers all along. Therefore, as soon as they were released from the dominion of the Sitra Achra, they right away proclaimed, we will readily go up. There was no need of a miracle to convince them of God's ability. As soon as the Sitra Achra was dispersed and dispensed with, Kedusha shined forth. Similarly, with every Jew, when the light of his soul does not penetrate his heart, it is merely due to the arrogance of the Sitra Achra, which will vanish as soon as he rages at it. As soon as we tell it to geikaken, as soon as we tell it to go fly a kite to the Sitra Achra, all of a sudden Kedusha will shine forth. Every person can learn from this. When doubts occur in his mind, this is normal. Every person has it. Every person I know, at least. These are just from the Sitra Achra, which is overpowering or raising itself up against our divine soul. But the Jewish people, they are believers. It is possible that momentarily in a battle, the Sitra Achra will overcome, but in its core, we are believers. Even the Sitra Achra itself, does not have any doubts in its faith in Hashem. Just God gave it, granted it sovereignty, granted it reshus levalvela adam, to confuse man, b'divrei sheker, with false words, umirma, and deceitful words, laharbei schare, in order that it will get reward. That's its job. Kifitue azoina levena melach. Okay, in this it is similar to the harlot who attempts to seduce the king, b'sheker umirma b'reshus hamelach, who is attempting to seduce the king with the king's approval. Kamoshe kasav b'zeir hakadosh. So you can read over here the parable about a king that hires a harlot to seduce his son, so that the prince will reveal his wisdom in resisting her wiles, her advancements. The harlot herself, knowing the king's intention, does not want the prince to submit to the temptation. So that the harlot in itself doesn't want the prince to succumb. And the same too is over here. The Sitra Achra, deep down, wants, it's there just to do its job, to test the people. But deep down, it's also on Team HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's also on Team God. It's also created by God and also given its full power and strength only by Hashem to see to try to put doubts in our emunah and see if we can overcome it. In any event, we see that any doubts one may have concerning faith in God are merely the empty words of the Sitra Achra. The soul within every Jew, however, believes in God with a perfect faith.
Mhm.
It was a pleasure to learn with you. I'll be learning every day at 9 o'clock, besides for Sundays, the regular time at 8 o'clock. The Tehillim today is chapters 10 to 17. Have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. And again, it was a pleasure to learn with you.
Question.
Yes.
If God